This case settles if the SEC makes clear that Ripple sales and distributions of XRP and XRP's trading in the secondary market does not constitute a security.
A couple of large banks are already tied up with us and are putting in transactions daily through this platform. I'll talk a little bit as we go along, but it clearly has a lot of benefits on the blockchain side.
Rulemaking proceedings and asking important questions. We need to keep doing that, I think, to really get at those difficult questions. What's appropriate disclosure?
That's a conspiracy theory that we're doing a central bank digital currency. They're lying to you.
Enjoy the ride, pal.
If you got some bags, welcome to the party. Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. No breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra. Bullishness. Shout out to the latest Rekka Bonsai in the building. Appreciate you stopping by. Stuffing some bags. Go ahead. Throw on those moon suits, those pilot shades. Buckle up, because the future is extra. Bullish. Let's go full speed, full throttle into the cryptoverse. We got the total global cryptocurrency market cap today at 1.23 trillion, up about 1.1% in the past 24. We got XRP here in that number 6 spot, right around 53 cents, up about 0.3% in the past 24. Stellar XLM almost up to 11 cents, up almost 4.6 in the past 24. BTC 28,000, ETH 18 hundo. We got Flare Networks in that number 1 hundo spot, right around 0.0357, and we got Songbird here in the number 272 spot, 0.00949, up 1.1 in the past 24, almost 27% in the past 7 days. XRP Goonie says XRP looks absolutely primed for a huge breakout. I hope you got those bags packed, locked and loaded. It's March 31st. It's Ripple versus SEC lawsuit coming today as per predictions. XRP Army. Dark Defender, we're waiting for Judge Torres' decision. Impatient today, D-Day. Big Brad Garland House for the chair of the SEC to assert that he dictates what is security and not the legislation from which his agency derives its power is beyond comprehension. It's time for the elected officials in the U.S. to take notice. SEC Chair Gensler, existing rules regulate crypto legislation unnecessary. When you behave like an autocrat running a $2.2 billion bloated agency, why would you ever want to provide clarity about what's in or what's out? Without clear jurisdiction, ambiguity masquerades as power. Gary, you still there? During the swamp. Breathe the standard. Stuart Alderati says before other politicians join Senator Warren's anti-crypto army, remember her 2020 campaign for the Democrats' presidential nomination failed so miserably, she dropped out after being declared unelectable. The AI says listen to Stuart Alderati lay down exactly where the SEC or Ripple case is, settlement ruling. You know what comes next.
And the other thing the law is very, very clear on, and it may sound like a lawyer, giving you a fine legal point, but it's an important legal point. And the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has been very clear on this point. What Howey requires is an investment in a common enterprise, not an investment in efforts. And the quote is, you cannot so easily satisfy the Howey test by simply saying that you're investing in efforts. You need to invest in a common enterprise. In other words, you need to invest in a business venture. You need to have a right, title, or interest in that business venture, and no holder of XRP has any right, title, or interest in the business venture known as Ripple. If you want a right, title, or interest in the business venture known as Ripple, you need to go out in the secondary market and buy a share of Ripple.
SEC Chair Gary Gensler himself has said that you don't need any further guidance. It's all written out there in case law that you don't need any further explanation from the SEC. I imagine you don't agree with that.
Well, there's two questions there. Could there be digital assets that are packaged and sold as securities? I imagine there could be. To what Gary Gensler says is we don't need any further clarification. Maybe that was true if the SEC under the prior leadership and the SEC under Gary Gensler's leadership was faithfully applying the law. What they're doing here is they're not applying the law, they're seeking to remake the law. The SEC has already been called out by this court by engaging in hypocrisy because they are engaging in litigation behavior to further a desired result rather than a faithful allegiance to the law. So maybe I would agree with Gary Gensler that we don't need any further clarity if he was faithfully applying the law, but he's not. He's twisting the law, or the SEC is. I don't want to make this personalized to Gary Gensler. The SEC is twisting the law. They're using sleight of hand to pretend that common interest can be a common enterprise, that you don't need a contract for an investment to satisfy an investment contract. So if we were to faithfully apply the law, maybe we don't need any more clarity. But over the past 6 years, I'll say starting with the Clayton administration at the SEC and now continuing into the Gary Gensler administration, there's been so much confusion and havoc wrought by this agency, and I think intentionally, because with that, with confusion comes power. Let me put it this way. If Gary Gensler or the SEC truly believed that they had the power that they suggest they have in speeches and interviews, they would be exercising that power, and they're not.
All right.
And the reason they're not is because they don't have the power under the law, and that's going to be exposed in this case.
Stu, I'm being told you're running out of time, so we appreciate you coming on the show no less. Though, yes or no, any settlement on the table?
We've said publicly since day one that this case settles if the SEC makes clear that Ripple sales and distributions of XRP and XRP's trading in the secondary market does not constitute a security. If they're willing to acknowledge that, the case settles and settles very, very quickly. Without that acknowledgement, we have no choice to continue to defend the case. And we're defending the case not only on behalf of Ripple, we're really defending this case on behalf of the entire crypto industry. Because if we're not going to get clarity through regulatory rulemaking, and we're getting deliberate confusion wrought upon the market. If we're not going to get clarity through the legislative process, and there's some good faith efforts to make that work, the only other place where you can get clarity is through the judicial process.
The corrupt and evil SEC, or Gary Gensler, must be held accountable. We got him on that blockchain trail. John Deaton says, I practice law in Massachusetts. Judges have mandatory retirement age at age 70. In other words, if E. Warren was a judge in MA and not a senator, she would have to retire. You're too old to rule on the application of law. Maybe you're too old to be making the law. Elizabeth Warren, building an anti-crypto army. Watch your guru just in United States to sell 41,500 Bitcoin, totaling 1.18 billion, connected to Silk Road in the 4 batches this year. We got 801 XRP. Collaboratively, we're working to solve these use cases. Cross-border, banks, XRP.
If you look at the kind of e-commerce as a market by itself, I think the recent report I read that about 20% of e-commerce is already global. So thanks to Amazon, eBay, and so on and so forth, now these kind of companies are already transacting, or customers are transacting globally on these platforms. So what I'm trying to say here is that the shift is happening in terms of the overall market in the remittances in the cross-border space, depending on the business models. The customer is definitely driving a lot of this in terms of their demand for more convenience, demand for speed, demand for quick settlement, low error rates, and of course transparency. So those are some of the, I would say, challenges, or as not the challenges, the way the market is changing. Challenges wise, I think we've already heard challenges. There are many challenges, and we are all in the banking space and in the fintech space working collaboratively to solve for these use cases. So, for example, I represent IndusInd Bank. So we have done a cross-border inward remittance platform tie-up with Ripple, which is a blockchain platform. A couple of large banks are already tied up with us and they're putting in transactions daily through this platform. I'll talk a little bit as we go along, but it clearly has a lot of benefits on the blockchain side. So we are trying to see what other use cases can be added onto that and how it can make our customer experience a lot better.
We got Tim R614, fire Gary Gensler. XRP perpetual futures open interest skyrockets to 610 million. All roads lead to the bridge. 801 XRP, Hester Pierce, Lewis Cohen. Oranges are not securities, but digital assets are not oranges either. And XRP is the standard.
The Howey general counsel had been that far-sighted, then we might not be in the situation we're in now, because we might actually have some sort of registration regime that made sense. But I mean, that's orange groves, oranges. We're talking digital assets. This is more complicated. So taking us into the modern era, how do you think about digital assets? Are they different than orange groves?
You know, that's a tough question, right? Because, you often hear a refrain that oranges are not securities, and, well, oranges are not securities. But as you ask, digital assets also really aren't oranges either. They're different. They're created by a particular individual or development team. They're finite in supply by plan. They are intended to capture the value of a computer network. And so the kinds of disclosures that might be appropriate for example, an issuer of asset-backed securities or perhaps a company that is selling orange grows and management contracts don't really make sense. It's a much more challenging kind of situation. And I think as market participants, it's really on all of us to think about how we ensure that people who are engaging with these networks have the information they need to make good and informed decisions. And I break that down really into two different categories. The first category is when the digital assets are initially being distributed. We've seen different frameworks. Commissioner Peirce, you've created a framework yourself known as the Safe Harbor, and you adapted it as Safe Harbor 2.0. A group of lawyers in the space created something called Regulation X, which they publish, which created disclosures. There are other disclosure frameworks that are out there. We need creative solutions so that the kinds of unique issues that digital assets present are disclosed in a way that makes sense. That's one category. The other category, I think, is when digital assets trade in secondary markets. And particular in a speech you gave at Duke University a couple of weeks ago, you noted quite appropriately, in my view, that it's inherent in the nature of blockchain-based economic systems that digital assets are free and available to trade. Without being able to trade them, the system fundamentally doesn't work. But it raises the somewhat obvious question, well, what disclosures are needed there? And they may not be the same disclosures that are relevant when digital assets are initially being distributed, but they're still very important, and we need to give more thought. As a community, I think you've admonished the community on a number of occasions, Commissioner, that we need to do more to be creative. And I think we have seen things like Regulation S and other initiatives. We've seen some private market participants file rulemaking proceedings and asking important questions. We need to keep doing that, I think, to really get at those difficult questions. What's appropriate disclosure in a world of digital assets?
Get ready for Regulation X. Digital Pound Foundation, the Bank of Russia's digital ruble pilot, was originally scheduled to start on April 1st. However, their CBDC can only be launched once enabling legislation is passed, which is now expected in mid-April or early May. Get those bags packed, locked and loaded. Glenn Beck, we're not headed towards a recession or depression. We're headed towards the collapse of the dollar, and the government solution will be a CBDC.
What people think, what you think, because you're getting the garbage from television. What you think is coming is a recession. What your crazy friends might say to you is coming is maybe a depression. You'd be mistaken. Those are lies. What is coming is a collapse of the dollar. You haven't had one of those. We've never experienced the collapse of the dollar, of the world's reserve currency. This will make us Venezuela. Make no mistake. If you want to be prepared, prepare yourself like people should have prepared in Venezuela. Soon, I don't know when, but it will happen overnight. Soon, everything will be collapsing and the banks will close and there will be chaos. And everyone on radio and television and the internet will be telling you we have to do central banks. We have to do digital currency from the central. Do not believe that. The collapse is caused by the idiocy of the people who are now telling you, A, we're fine, it's stable, and B, that's a conspiracy theory that we're doing a central bank digital currency. They're lying to you, and they're the ones who caused it. So please stop listening to the experts.
BPM Revelers, here's a gentle reminder that if you mint the rarest Reveler, you'll also win an additional 2,000 XRP. Precision Trader, good morning, everyone. XRP is trying really hard to hold the 236 support. I still think it's on track for Wave C, though, to 494. Subwaves of C are also targeting the 382 fib. Previously, that level has been resistant, so it makes sense that it wants to come down and test it as support. JD, XRP dominance chart monthly closes tonight. XRP dominance had that textbook retest on the 5.5-year trend line. XRP getting in position for that next move. Joe Cat says, I swear I was just getting gas today and saw this. I don't mean to encourage crazy conspiracies, but 589 Inbound. Moni Love says, I asked ChatGPT who will move all the money in the next decade. Look at number 3. It's difficult to predict which company will move all the money in the next 10 years, as there are several factors that could impact the financial industry and the way money is moved. PayPal, Square, Visa. How about all roads lead to the bridge, the RippleNet, XRP, the interoperable one. Greg Crypto major move is brewing. XRP price in terms of dollar, 30K BTC, $3.50 XRP, 35K BTC, $4 XRP, 40K, $4.680, 45K, $4.25, 50K, $5.85 XRP. In November 2022, the post clearly and explicitly shows a Wave 5 taking XRP to the 0.00117. The below falling wedge formation will be taking XRP to 0.00011700 if XRP close above the multi-year descending trend line. XRP Army, stay ready. Crypto's XRP daily close just above support. Now I need to get comfortable around these levels. Please like and retweet. Got plenty more XRP charts for you guys. With that being said, Bagman and Bag Ladies, where will you be when XRP's true price finally gets revealed? We'll catch you up here, up top, starting at 718.23. Where will you be when XRP finally takes flight? We'll catch you up here at the tippy top. I am the XRP Bagman, Moon Commander, currently up here on the mothership, stuffing some bags and enjoying the show. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in, smashing those likes for some more Moon O'Clock news. Hope y'all continue to stay extra bullish out there. Continue holding those good vibes. Remember to sell the FUD, buy up those bags. Don't forget to spread that liquid love. Also, if you're new here, don't forget to drop a subscribe, drop a comment down below. All the OG diamond hands out there, drop a comment down below, drop an elbow on that like button. Catch you up here on Mothership 589 for the Moon Party, Las Vegas, BYOB. Bring your own bags, be your own banks. Peace out, Crypto Ghost.
It's a bull run. Get your bags up in your rocket ships. We gon' blast up. It's a bull run. I got my bag stuffed. We gon' take the cup. Tick tock, your time's up. It's a bull run. Get your bags up in your rocket ships. We gon' blast up. Big bags. It's a bull run. I got my bag stuffed. We gon' take the cup.